I mean, I think the key one is around the type of community we're building. I mean, as with so many things online, it's important to know who you're serving. And there's an awful lot of great projects that simply don't fit into the Possible or Kickstarter mold. And indeed, many Kickstarter overtly ban charitable projects, for instance. So we want to offer that opportunity more broadly to people. There's some architectural differences. I mean, we have a structure, a kind of dual structure with venture pages as well as campaign pages in order that fundraising campaigns are placed into more context in terms of the work that the organisation or individual is doing. We also have a different fundraising model, which we call the tipping point model, which we think is a blend of the best elements of keep what you raise versus all or nothing, and allows people to have a more nuanced fundraising goal and to achieve a higher level of success. It's actually the wrong way to think about what's happening. If people are thinking about the Starts From Good audience, the Possible audience, the Kickstarter audience, they're actually missing the point and they're unlikely to succeed. The audience that matters is their audience. So if you're making a documentary film about, I don't know, pick a social issue you care about.
Human trafficking.
Sure, human trafficking. Okay, so if you're making a documentary about human trafficking, what matters is not who happens to have already connected with Starts From Good. What matters are people who already connect with the issue of human trafficking. They're the people who are going to fund your work. Now, who knows best where people who are passionate about human trafficking are? Me, who's never been involved in that issue, or you, who's making a documentary about human trafficking? I bet you have a much greater sense of who else shares your passion, what are the right organisations, meetup groups, email lists, Twitter accounts in which to focus and in which to share your story to in order to win success. This is why we do a lot of work kind of trying to demystify the concept of crowdfunding. It's badly named, and as we're always telling people, there is no crowd. There's no crowd out there waiting to fund your campaign. There are simply communities of people who share your passions. And the trick to succeeding at crowdfunding is figuring out who they are, how to reach them, and focusing on them. People who are trying to raise money from the general public almost always fail, because there is no general public. The public is just a collection of quite specific interests. This is kind of what underpins most successful campaigns. Is it's not about reach. People get obsessed when they're running their campaigns on reach, just trying to reach the maximum number of people possible, which is why I see people spending all their time and effort tweeting at Oprah and Obama and Justin Bieber, desperately hoping for a retweet. And A, those people almost never retweet, and B, even if they do, Justin Bieber supporters probably don't give a damn about the documentary. Unless it's a documentary on Justin Bieber, it's not going to matter. Instead, you need to figure out who are the people who actually have that depth of feeling, who actually care about the work that you're doing. In the kind of commercial startup space, they call this kind of product market fit. And I think in the social change world, it's more about idea market fit or cause market fit. And the idea is not to convince people that the work you're doing matters. It's to find people who already know it matters and to tell them that you're doing it. That's a really great question. I guess there's kind of a couple of different layers of accountability. People obviously have a certain accountability to us. We assess projects, and we're a curated site, so projects have to be approved by us before they go up on the site, and there is a light assessment process and we do check for stuff that we believe is viable, that seems to have some credibility around it. That's not perfect, of course, because also our whole model is to give new people a chance. So the fact that someone has no track record is, we would still allow them to go forward. The second level of accountability is, of course, the law. You can't raise money under false pretenses. But I think more powerful than the actual legal prohibition is simply the fact that in order to succeed at crowdfunding, you need the support of your friends and family. Even if it goes way beyond that ultimately, you can't get started without the support of people you know personally. And people don't rip off people they know. People try and rip off strangers. And so I have no doubt that there are crowdfunding campaigns that are attempting to rip off people. I think they almost never succeed. You can kind of spot them. They're the ones with zero supporters. Because they don't actually want to tell anyone they know about it, because people don't want to rip off people they know. And without that early support, that social proof of a community rallying around you from day one who actually knows you and believes in you, without that, the support from strangers never eventuate. One tip, and a new one, because my one tip is usually don't get confused by the word of crowd, because there is no crowd. But I've already kind of hammered on about that a little bit. My one tip is not to underestimate the amount of work involved. it's important that people are realistic, that crowdfunding gives you an incredible opportunity to succeed, but only by actually putting hard work in. There are no easy ways to fundraise. It's a new way, it provides a new opportunity, but like every other type of fundraising, it's about going out there and sharing your story with people and inspiring them to want to be part of that story.